The 16th century Jeronimos Monastery is in the Belém district of Lisbon, about 7 kilometres from the city centre. Its vast cloisters are an impressive 55 metres square, with intricate arches at both lower and upper levels. This is the impressive entrance to the chapter house, which served as a meeting place for the monks. The room is renowned for its ribbed vaulted ceiling. It holds the tomb of Alexander Herculano, a poet, novelist, historian and politician. The refectory is where the monks used to gather for their meals. The lower walls have 18th century tile panels. When I exited, I saw that the queue extended the full length of the building, so I was glad that I had been there early. Just across from the monastery is a marina, and beside that a monument to Portugal's maritime explorers, with Vasco da Gama probably being the best known. A bit further west was the Belém Tower, which had been a point of embarkation for the explorers. It too had long queues waiting to get in. I next visited the ultra-modern National Coach Museum. The earliest horse-drawn carriages there dated from the 17th century. They looked very solidly built, but I doubt that they gave a comfortable ride. There was some one-upmanship as to how ornate they could be. There was a lot of symbolism involved. The coats of arms indicated that they were either for royalty or nobility. A 6-horse team must also have indicated high status. There are also light traps, religious display carriages, sedan chairs, commercial vehicles, and even a 1901 Darracq horseless carriage. A real oddity was a circus-inspired piece of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle mounted within a wheel pulling a Roman chariot. Staying with the transport theme, I visited the tram museum. A vintage tram provided a short ride from the main depot to the museum at the rear. Carris, Lisbon's transport company, has operated trams since horse-drawn ones in 1873, moving on to electric ones from 1901. They started as fully open carts and gradually became more enclosed with progressively more streamlined designs. Service trams are normally in a yellow livery, although special tourist ones are painted red. My next stop was to be at the Praça do Comércio, Lisbon's main waterfront square. Unfortunately, there were temporary stages, scaffolding, a mega screen and other obstacles preventing clear views, so this photo is how the square and the equestrian statue of King Jose I should have looked. While there, I saw a red tourist tram for the hill route, and their very latest new yellow streamlined ones. Located on the north side of Commerce Square is the Rua Augusta Arch, which links through to the most prominent street in the Baixa district. This triumphal arch was intended to commemorate the city's reconstruction after the 1755 earthquake, but it took over 100 years for it to be completed. It was possible to go up inside the arch for views over to the tree-lined castle, the cathedral and down to the square. I then headed down towards the cruise liner terminal, where a P&O ship was about to cast off. As it sailed away, it dwarfed the little traditional fishing boat that was coming in to take me on a short evening cruise on the Tagus to the 25th April Bridge and back. Being in a small boat on choppy water is not the best way of getting steady images. I only noted our boat's name at the end, and it translates as "Be Happy." Another site that was well worthy of a visit was the National Tile Museum, housed in an old convent. It displayed examples of tiles from the 15th century to the present day. They had come from all over Portugal, often rescued from buildings about to be demolished. It is a sort of two-in-one visit, because within the convent there is a small church with beautiful gilded woodwork and tiled panels. The paintings above the panels dated from the 16th and 18th centuries. A traditional Our Lady of Life scene. Going to the upper level of the small cloisters provided an alternative view down on the nave. As well as the wide variety of tableaux, there were panels of apprentice pieces. Tiles also depicted historical cityscapes of Lisbon. More modern designs included a QR code, which, when scanned, linked to the museum's online tour guide. Lisbon Cathedral has been on the same site since 1147, when it replaced the previous mosque. Tuk-tuks are a popular way of tourists getting up the hill to it. The cathedral was badly damaged by Lisbon's earthquake of 1755 and has been modified, renovated and restored many times. There are 2 rose windows, including the impressive west-facing one. A bit further up the hill was the Santa Lucia Mirador. It enjoyed views down to the Tagus and the cruise liner terminal. It was a popular spot for buskers and had some fine tiled riverside scenes of the city. This is the entry portal to Lisbon's castle, dedicated to St George. It dates from the 12th century, but the hill is known to have been a fortified site long before that. It is just a shell, but a walk round its parapets and a climb up one of its towers provides good views over the city. I visited a camera obscura inside the Black Chamber, but on a dull day the images were rather faint. In a rest area just outside the castle walls, there was a peacock strutting around, and I was delighted to see him followed by a peahen and her chicks. Pastel de bacalhau is a traditional Portuguese dish, where a mash of cod and potato is spooned into an egg shape and deep fried. I then headed back down to look at the city centre areas. The Church of Our Lady of the Incarnation stands at the corner of the Praça Luís de Camões. The vintage-looking taxi cabs are electric Chinese replicas. There was an event in Rocio Square. The stalls round the perimeter were like a Christmas market, with all kinds of food and drink offerings and souvenirs. It was a great opportunity to enjoy some traditional Portuguese music.
Saudade, vou-te dizer, saudade é tudo o que fica, depois de tudo morrer. Saudade é tudo o que fica, depois de tudo morrer. Das palavras que aprendeste, saudade é mais bonita. Ainda não sofreste, queres saber o que significa? Como ainda não sofreste, queres saber o que significa? Para mentir não tenho jeito, e um dia tens de aprender como é que nasce o bem. Saudade,
many of the narrow streets were pedestrianised and had open-air restaurants. The Santa Justa lift towered at the end of this street. It had a viewing platform at the top. You could queue and pay to take the lift, or simply walk up the hill and arrive at the platform that way. There were views over the city and up to the castle. Looking down, it was hard to see where the streets were. It was adjacent to the Archaeological Museum of Carmel, in the ruins of an old church. This is the entrance to the Rocio station, which serves the trains to Sintra. A little further along was the Gloria funicular. This climbs an 18-degree slope up to the Alcantara viewpoint and its small park. The views across the city include the castle on its hill and the roof of the Rossio station down below. As a city on 7 hills, Lisbon has many viewpoints, or miradors as they are called, but I think that this one offered the best panorama. The funicular then returned to the Praça dos Restauradores. There, the 30-metre high obelisk commemorates the country's liberation from Spanish rule. The Praça is at the foot of the Avenida da Liberdade, which is a very busy dual carriageway, but fortunately pedestrians have space back from it. At the top of the avenue was the statue to the Marquess of Pombal, who led Lisbon's recovery from the 1755 earthquake.